तथैतदप्यशक्तोऽसि कर्तुं मद्योगमाश्रितः सर्वकर्मफलत्यागं ततः कुरु यतात्मवान् श्रेयो हि ज्ञानमभ्यासात् ज्ञानात् ज्ञानं विशिष्यते ज्ञानात् कर्मफलत्यागः त्यागात् शान्तिरनन्तरम् अद्वेष्टा सर्वभूतानां मैत्रः करुण एव च निर्ममो निरहङ्कारः समदुःखसुखक्षमी सन्तुष्टः सततं योगी यतात्मा दृढनिश्चयः मय्यर्पितमनो बुद्धिः यो मद्भक्तः स मे प्रियः यस्मान्नो द्विजते लोकः लोकान्नो द्विजते च यः हर्षामर्षभयोद्वेगैः मुक्तो यः स च मे प्रियः अनपेक्षः शुचिर्दक्षः उदासीनो गतव्यतः सर्वारम्भपरित्यागी यो मद्भक्तः स मे प्रियः यो न द्वेष्यति न द्वेष्टि न शोचति न काङ्क्षति शुभाशुभपरित्यागी भक्तिमान्यः स मे प्रियः समशत्रौ च मित्रे च तथा मानापमानयोः शीतोष्णसुखदुःखेषु समसङ्गविवर्जितः तुल्यनिन्दास्तुतिर्मौनी सन्तुष्टो येन केनचित् अनिकेतः स्थिरमतिः भक्तिमान् मे प्रियो नरः ये तु धर्म्यामृतमिदं यथोक्तं पर्युपासते श्रद्धानामत्परमाः भक्तास्तेतीव मे प्रियाः। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। A bhakta is one who is essentially emotional in nature. His personality is dominated by emotions. And he is practicing Bhakti Yoga. Now, when bhakta practices bhakti, or for that matter, any spiritual efforts, it means focus. All essential spiritual efforts culminate in that one point: concentration, focus. And bhakta is essentially devotional, emotional. By nature, emotions are multidimensional, lacks focus. Okay? All of you are nodding your head. What do you understand? Bhakta equals emotional. Emotions equals no focus. Spiritual equals focus. Therefore, emotional cannot be spiritual. Therefore, bhakta cannot be spiritual. Next chapter. But no. But all of us say what? Sir, bhakti is the easiest path, sir. In Kali Yuga, bhakti is the simple one. You don't understand the complexity behind it. You see. Because we say bhakti is easy, not because positively. We say bhakti is easy negatively. What I mean is, the scripture itself says path of jnanam is very difficult. So not possible. And we have forgotten karma because we have belittled all the rituals, and today we don't have any ritual for us to practice because we have decried all that. We said all that is useless. So on our own we have rejected the rituals, and the scriptures itself has rejected jnanam. What is left out? Bhakti is the only one left out. Therefore all of us say what? Bhakti. Since it is so complex and so difficult to explain bhakti, Krishna moves to qualities. See, why suddenly he's talking about the qualities of a bhakta? Why that switch over? Is because of this essential problem of bhakti yoga. When you get into this bhakti, disciplining through bhakti is almost impossible to communicate. Doesn't mean it doesn't happen. It happens. But how it happens, the logic behind it cannot be explained. Since it cannot be explained logically, because logically, if you analyze, we have to go back to the first 4 steps. Bhakta is devotional, devotional is equal to emotions, emotions is equal to no focus. Spirituality means focus, single pointedness, concentration. Therefore, bhakti is not possibility, is logical deduction. Right? But factually, when you see, we can go on giving scores of examples of devotees in the world who are highly spiritual. Now, how to communicate that? Therefore, Krishna switches over to the 35 qualities. He can't give 1 or 2. He has to give so much. Even then, it's not complete. Huh? These are all, main features, we'll say. Yes.
In the last class, you also said qualities is an effect.
Forget about what I said last class. What I'm saying now, you listen. I myself don't remember what I say. Simply, I'll say one thing. Whatever comes, we say. That's all. Yes. What is referred here is these qualities, when you listen to, there will be a temptation in you to start thinking, how am I to develop that particular quality? See that? For you to arrest the temptation, I gave that point. Because these qualities are not to be practiced. Remember, these qualities are more for you to understand what is perfection. Emotionally perfect, matured individual is a bhakta. How he will live his life is what these qualities explain. But when you read these qualities, there is a good chance that you may get. It's only a chance. 99% doesn't happen. You listen to the quality and say, very good lecture, and walk out at the best. But then, suppose by mistake one of you were to get inspired by this quality, you will say, I'm going to practice it. These qualities are not designed for practice. Remember, these qualities are effects of your spiritual growth. So these qualities are designed for you to know what is your spiritual status. That's about it. Therefore, we try to understand what this quality means. Otherwise, it's just a read through. I would prefer personally read through the qualities and move. But then, this is very important portion because explaining bhakti is such a complex scenario. See, karma is easy. To discourse on karma is very easy. To give a lecture on jnanam is very easy. To discourse on bhakti, see, traditionally, when I say this, what I mean is this. Traditionally, we have, for every school should have a sutra. Okay. That sutra should have a bhashya. That bhashya should have further explanation. Vartika, tika, and all that. Vartika, after Vartika, tika. Further elaboration has to happen. Elaboration. Every stage it gets more and more elaborate. Like we have this Brahma Sutra. For Brahma Sutra, there is a bhashya. On that bhashya, there is a commentary. That is Vartika. Critically explaining the bhashyam, not the sutra. Bhashya is explained. And then glossary, as it were, is written on that Vartika, is tika. Further elaboration. Right. For every sutra we have. Patanjali Yoga Sutra we have. This Jaimini Sutra we have. For every sutra there is a bhashya. But Narada Bhakti Sutra has no bhashya. That's the question, why? Right. Why? Many people took it as, sir, it's easy. Oh, Bhajagovindam, there is commentary we have. For Bhajagovindam, our fellows have written commentary. Now, Narada Bhakti Sutra, they wouldn't have written commentary because it's easy. It is so difficult. Sutras, bhakti is not easy to communicate. Therefore, what to do? Arjuna is asking about bhakti. He is asking about devotion. He is asking about a devotee. Krishna has to communicate that to him. How to do that? He says, These are all the qualities. Whoever possesseth these qualities, know them to be a bhakta, full stop. You don't have to worry. Whoever it is, whatever the period of time, wherever they are, if that person were to possess these qualities, he is a bhakta. The first quality he gives is adveshta sarva bhutana. No hatred to any being. Means love all being. Understood? Next one he gives is friendly. He's a friend. A bhakta is a friend. He is very friendly with people. Another fascinating quality. No hatred. Why do you hate? You will hate people only when someone were to work contrary to your likes and dislikes, contrary to your desires. If someone were to function contrary to your desire, you will get hatred towards that person. You will hate that person. Now, bhakta is one who has no desires. He has no likes and dislikes. Therefore, he cannot hate anyone. It's as simple as that. Why he has no hatred? If you know the root of hatred, you can understand why he is not having hatred. What is the root, sir? I like something and you do which is conflicting with what I like. Therefore, I'll hate you. Right? If you do congruent to what I like, I love you. Right? What is this? It is just a question of my desires. A bhakta has no desires. If at all he desires only one thing, that is God. So he has no transactions with the world. He has no worldly desires. Therefore, what he is going to do? No hatred. At the same time, what is he? He is so friendly. Another beautiful quality. Friendliness. Friendly. A friend is one who you can trust. That's the essential meaning of friend. In fact, in our Orthodox marriage, the first vow of marriage is let us be friends. Husband and wife. The first vow they take is be friends. What? Why friendliness? Why do you have to be friend? What is so interesting? Friend is one with whom there is no judgment. He's not going to judge you. See, all of us have acquaintances. Remember, you have acquaintance. What is acquaintance? Whoever you send your marriage invitation, no? Family wedding, you send to people, right? That is acquaintance. Then who is a friend? What is the difference between acquaintance and friend? Remember, with acquaintances, you have to put up a mask. And putting up a mask is such a pain, such a burden, You have to keep smiling. Aye, welcome. So plastic. You see the air hostess welcoming you. They don't care who you are, whether you are alive or dead, they will not bother. Once you step out, but inside, welcome you, sir, this you, sir, that you, sir. Always smiling. Both the engines are gone. Another 15 minutes, the air pressure also will go. That also she is trained to say with smile. When the same lady goes home, what do you think she'll be doing? Vidya, ask Varun. Do they smile? No smile, nothing. Scream, frown. Why? That the smile is such a pain because it is masking. You see, with acquaintances, you have to wear a mask. You have to pretend, and that pretense is such a burdensome activity. You see, with friend is so refreshing. Why? Because he doesn't judge you. See, you can trust him. That is friend. What is a friend? Who you can bank on. When you are in trouble, you can be sure to call that fellow. He will drop everything and he'll come and stand for you. That is friend. What we have is what? If you have one or two fellows like that in your life, you are complete. The tragedy is we all build Instagram followers. How many followers you have? Krishna had one follower. That too half-hearted, not fully. You have how many followers you have? I'm having. There are about 1,600 followers. I don't know who they are and what they do. When I'm in trouble, he will come and stand for me. I trust him. I don't have to think twice. Oh, it is midnight. He'll be sleeping by now. Should I call him now or tomorrow? That means what? There is no friendship. Well, what is there then? Acquaintance. Now you go back and think. Take out your mobile. Not now. Huh? On the way back home, you sit and open your mobile phone and scroll one by one. How many contacts you have? In that, how many you believe? What Krishna is saying here is how many to whom you are a friend is what he is saying. He's not asking how many friends you have. A bhakta is one who is friendly with people. A friendly doesn't mean immediately you put your hands around his shoulder, keep walking and all that. It's not that, please. Of course, it includes that. It is also that. And no need of formality. See, friendship. You don't address. Have you seen friends addressing each other? Stupid. What are you doing? First thing, he'll call me. I say, hello. Stupid. Nada pandra. But when he says stupid, you don't try all that. You only said no, sir, at the class. You can't do all those things. He calls and says, first thing he says, absolutely no formality. Why? Because he has such trust that he will not be judged. That's the essential qualification here. It's a delight to have a person around like that. That's why earlier in the Gita he says, I'm teaching you this knowledge, Arjuna, because you are my bhakta and you are my sakha. You are my friend. The 4th chapter. He says, you are my devotee and friend. Unbelievable combination. It's almost an impossible combination to have a person to be a bhakta and a friend. Because friend means equal. Okay? Bhakta means I consider you to be superior. Right? How can you have a combination of these two? And to him, Krishna says, it is such a delight teaching you, Arjuna. It is a delight teaching you. Not because you are an intelligent student. You cannot find more dumb than Arjuna. All irrelevant questions. Either he will ask the same question or he will ask irrelevant question. Throughout the Gita, you will find all questions of Arjuna irrelevant to the context or repeating the same thing. Same problem. He is repeating again and again. He is not intelligent. Krishna says, you are qualified to gain this knowledge. That means what? You don't require intelligence for this knowledge. You don't need a great IQ. That's the only consolation I had. The courage I got to go and ask, Swamiji, shall I join the course? I heard this in his lectures. The qualification needed for this is you should be a bhakta and a friend, not intelligent. I raise my hand. I am there, Swamiji. You don't need intelligence. Because we think, see, to gain, if you have to learn mathematics, you need IQ. To learn language, you need a skill. You see, everyone doesn't become, fluent with words, language. You see, you need that thing in you. When it comes to the spiritual knowledge, Krishna says, you don't require all those things. All that is required is what? Is a friendliness. Why? Because only in that state of non-judgmental, you are open to receive knowledge. You are open. Otherwise, you are not open. That's why every class, before we begin the class, we chant invocatory prayer. Because we are chanting in Sanskrit, you are all thinking so divine. Nothing. There's nothing divine there. All that we are chanting is, let us not fight with each other. All chanting. And you think, oh, you get so devoted. Wow. When you're inviting, someone to the house also, when you invite a guru, we chant this. We don't understand why we are chanting that. Why we are chanting is, what we are chanting is, let us not fight. Why? Because what he is going to present, what he represents, is exactly opposite to what we believe, what we value, what we vouch for. He is going to come and say, you are wrong. And he is not going to say, you are wrong once. Remember, till you die or you leave him, he will continue. Every time you go and meet him, he will say, you are wrong. Mark carefully. If the teacher were to agree with you, don't come out with elevation. That means you have not established your surrender to him. You are not treating him as friend. Because you are not open. It needs to be given that instructions. When this training has to be given, this is exactly opposite to your thinking. To receive that knowledge, to get that receptivity mentally, you need this qualification. A bhakta is one who has mastered it. If you have a little, you are a seeker. Sadhak. If you have mastered this quality, you become the siddha. That's all. The difference between a sadhak and siddha is only this. Siddha is one who has mastered it. The sadhak is one who is in the process. That is the difference. It says Maitra. A bhakta is one who is friendly. And then he says the next quality he gives is he is having that karuna, compassion. Another beautiful quality. Very difficult one. Huh? First two qualities are easy to explain. The third one, compassion, is very difficult to explain because we mistake compassion for pity. Pity is a negative emotion. Compassion is a positive, subtler, finer emotion. Pity is gross, mundane, local. You know, the compassion is a natural feeling that you get when you see the suffering, the pain of the other. If something happens in you, when you see the pain, that is compassion, he says. And our problem, you know what? Is in your ability to recognize the pain of the other. Because the capacity of yours to recognize the pain depends on your level of existence. I'll explain that. Huh? It's not the same. It is very easy for all of us to feel compassionate about a person who has lost his legs. When you see someone who has lost, legs, you see them, you can feel that. Whereas when a person is having a mental disturbance, you cannot feel that. You see, the finer things. That's why we say when these masters came and spoke to us, why did they speak? What triggered them to speak? It's compassion. What is compassion for them? They could see the suffering. Do you feel suffering? Huh? You are very comfortable. Only the master has to come and tell you, no, you are not comfortable. Then you think, say, I think you are not very comfortable. You are jealous that we are very uncomfortable. Like the stress management, what biggest problem of stress management is first I have to establish the fact that you are stressed. And then I have to explain the cause of it. And then I have to give a solution. Look at the tragedy. First, I have to prove this is the master saying. I'm not saying, okay? This is the masters, they say, because they see that you are suffering in samsara and you are very comfortable, very happy in samsara. Of course, here and there, there are some pains, but then more or less my life is how, sir? More or less every one of us think we are okay. He says, no, you are not. How? How is it that he is able to see the pain? We are not able to see the pain. It's an amazing paradox of life. You see? See, it's like asking, who understands the value of education? The educated or uneducated? Only educated understands the value of education. Now the question is, who should actually understand the value of education? Uneducated should understand the value of education. But paradoxically, we see the uneducated don't understand the value of education. Therefore, the educated has to go to the uneducated and convince them education is so valuable. And he says what? I don't know how many of you have attempted that. I have done that in school. Right opposite to our house, we had a slum. I used to visit that slum to teach. Not the elders, kids. No. I was doing my college, degree, and I would go there to teach them. So, fifth standard, sixth standard. Not that I am teaching them, bigger, higher educations and all that. Just to, learn additional multiplication, reading, writing, something to learn. My God, what a resistance I had to face from parents, not from the kids. Kids' resistance is a different resistance. It's not that they were all out coming. That's not like that. But what was so interesting is I had to sit there and convince to the parents that it is so important. People can, take you for a ride. What they'll take, what worst can happen to us? We are already in the worst condition. At least if I send this fellow to the job, he will get 20 rupees per day. Now you are asking him to go to school. I said, school, they are giving lunch, no? One meal they give. What about other meal? That we'll write to the government to provide, breakfast also. Now I think breakfast also they are giving, government school. So breakfast they give, lunch they give. Then they will ask, what about dinner? They don't understand. They don't understand the problem of being an illiterate. Right? They don't. Who should understand? It's paradox. Same way, the one who is suffering the samsara should understand the problems of samsara. The tragedy is, we are going through that samsara, but we are very comfortable. That's what we call as mumukshatva. Mumukshatva means that burning desire for liberation. Who will have that desire for liberation? Who understands bondage? Isn't it? If you are comfortable, imagine there's a fight amongst couple, let's say, lovers. Okay, couple normal, you will say. Lovers. There's a boy and girl, they fight. And they are in that zone now. Okay? So the girl is angry with the boy. And equally, boy is also angry with the girl. Now my question is, who will make the first move to pacify, to mend the relationship? Boy or girl? At least this is the answer you should give. Boy? Somehow, this question I have asked at least I would have asked this question to minimum around, 1,800 students. All, university students. Minimum. This is a standard question I have. As a rule, I have seen this. All girls always say, girl will make the first move. All boys always say, boys will make the first move. No exception. Here also no exception. Oh, the boys are saying, sir, only boy will make the move, sir. Only boys' love is true love. No, it depends. Depends on what? Depends on who is suffering the pangs of separation more? If the boy were to feel the pain of separation, then he will make the first move. If the girl were to feel the pain of separation, then she will make the first move. It's as simple as that. Right? Now, you are separated from God. Are you feeling any pain? In fact, you are very happy staying away from truth. Only the Keno Upanishad master is screaming. This is the greatest or supremmost loss. This is what the Upanishadic masters say. Huh? You feel what? Okay. Is that so? You are so objective. Why will you put in any effort? If the master were to come and say, no, 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 you have to get united to God, you will resist him, is it not? He understands how wrong it is for you to stay away from God. He understands that. Therefore, what he does? He comes down to teach, to give this knowledge, to inspire you. He comes down, but we resist. But he continues. Why he is continuing, sir? Because he could see the pain. He is able to see the pain. He is so sensitive to the pain. Now comes the tragedy. We also see pain in others, correct? Isn't it? Sometimes. Not all the time, sometimes. We also see pain. The moment you see the pain of others, you jump in to help them. Right? Is it compassionate? They say, no, that's not compassion. That is pity. If the master sees the pain, the suffering of yours, and comes to help you, that is called compassion. If you see the pain of somebody, work to remove that pain, that is not compassion. Cheating. Okay? If he does compassion, if I do the same thing, double standard, no? There is a difference, remember. Makes all the difference. When you go to remove the pain of other, most of the time it is connected to you. When your effort to remove the suffering up to the experience of suffering, feeling that pain, you are traveling along with the master. You are traveling along with compassion. When you put an effort to remove that pain, the suffering of the other, that is where you deviate from compassion and slip into pity. It becomes negative. Why it becomes negative now is because most of the time, if you are attempting to remove the pain of the other, it is because you can't stand to see them suffering. You see that? I can't see them in pain. Therefore, I put in, suppose if I can see them in pain, what will you do? I can't stand them suffering. Therefore, I do everything to remove that suffering. Isn't it? Why are you doing it? Because I can't stand. The moment you start to remove the pain, instantly it gets connected to your ego, your little self. You see, that superiority complex, that's where it becomes superiority complex. What is it? I am not suffering, you are suffering, I am in a better position, you are in a lower position, now I am coming to help you. That is why before compassion, Krishna presented friendly. Why? Already he has established what? Equal. The highest expression. I'll give the story for friend. Right? For every quality, I'll give one story. Okay? If I forget, remind me. Sometimes I may forget also. Remind me, I'll give you one story. The highest expression of compassion is the Last Supper. See, there are two episodes in Christ's life outstanding. And the tragedy is hardly people comment on that. You know, there's Mary Magdalene, one. I'll come back to that later. That's another aspect. Even better than that is that itself is so high. Far, far superior to that is this episode of Last Supper. I'm sure all of you are familiar with it. Last Supper. It's unbelievable in this country what Christ did on that day. We can't even imagine in this country that a master goes to wash the feet of his disciples. Last Supper. Last Supper, what did he? Don't say he ate. What did he do? Have you ever seen any master? No master before him, no master after Christ had ever done that. Miracles and all that, many masters have done that. If you go to Manzoor, if he is put in the cross, Manzoor has also suffered. It is not that, just like that. But then, this one action of Christ was not done by any master. Nobody has done that, including Krishna. Krishna had played with Arjuna, that's about it. But he has never sat and washed the feet of Arjuna. What Krishna has not done was done by Christ. What is the meaning? What was he doing actually? What was he trying to say? We have so many interpretations. See? But it's an act of compassion. Can you understand that? If you want to understand compassion, that's the act. If you can understand that, you can understand compassion. If you cannot understand that, forget compassion, go to next quality. Such an equality where he comes down to the level of the student and he puts the disciple in a higher pedestal. Why on earth any master would do that? Washing the feet of the disciples, where the whole world should be standing under this man's feet and wash the feet of him. He's sitting there and washing the feet, including the feet of who? Judas. He knew. He knows for certain that all his disciples are going to desert him. He knows that. And when he says that, Peter comes up and says, "No, I will not." He says, "You will deny me 3 times." before the sunrise next morning, you will deny me 3 times. 3 times he denied. It's not that he doesn't know. It's not that he thought, they are actually going to be, standing for him, vouching for his innocence. Not a single fellow vouched for his innocence. Disciples did vouch. Forget about devotees, forget about followers. And today we go by the followers. How many followers are there? All useless fellows. Knowing fully well they are not going to be there, what did he do? Pada Puja. What was he doing? He is doing Pada Puja actually. What is that act? There is no superior, there is no inferior. He is demonstrating it. Can there be a better way of teaching? There is no superiority, no inferiority. Unbelievable one that is. For a man like Christ to get down to do it. Why he did that, sir? Compassion. That's the act of compassion. There's no ego there. The moment you see the pain, instantly ego takes over. See, otherwise there's nothing there. Recognizing the pain and suffering of others without focus on yourself. That is compassion. You tell a person, you know that Coromandel Express? Coromandel, no? Coromandel Express met with accident. Appa, alavela. I wasn't there in the train. That's called pity. You say tragedy, you have to connect it to yourself. You see, you cannot say that, oh my God, what happened? What has to be done? Immediately focus is what? Me. So after me, whatever you do, no matter, you can write a check and you can give your entire wealth there. Does it make a difference? You are nowhere near compassion. Why? Because it has got linked to yourself. It's negative. That's called pity. Whereas when you experience, when you feel the suffering, why you are able to feel that? Because of your identification. How you are able to see the suffering? Because of your sensitivity. So first, Adveshta Sarva Bhutanam explained identification. Maitra, equality. Karuna, sensitivity. You're all with me? Don't try to ask me, sir, is there a link with all 35? There is. But certain things you can see clearly the stream of link. These three has the fascinating link of identification, equality, no superiority, no inferiority, friend. Third one, karuna, compassion. What is it, sir? You're sensitive. Because of your sensitivity, you are able to see the suffering. So if you can see the pain of the other person, first thing you will do is what? I'll come to that. Yes.
So this question on pity, is it correct then to say if I'm pitying someone, one is I'm helping them because it is hurting me.
Yes.
Their suffering is hurting me. Secondly, is there also this thing that I am helping you?
That's the ego is there.
Ego is also, both will.
Ego is also there. That is very easy to understand. My ego. I am in a better position.
Yeah.
You see, 99.9% of our social work stems from pity. Is nothing but pity. Even the so-called charity of yours is also what? You feel sorry for them. Why you feel sorry for them? When you feel sorry for them, you know that they are in pain, and you know that, sir, they are not having food to eat. So sad. Give them. When you are giving them, background, you have one thing so sure, so sure, so sure. What? I have enough food. Correct? That's superiority complex. That's called ego. Now we think ego is such a casual one. He's coming next. He's coming to that. Directly, he's coming to it. To, your attachment and ego. He's coming to that next. You'll see there. Amazing quality. Not having that ego. But how that ego expresses here is many a times you go out and help others not because they are suffering. In that process, you tend to forget your pain. That's all. So you are only using them for what? To forget my pain. Now you are not going out there with that bliss, with that peace. The entire starting point, that's what I said. The focus is on me. Once the focus is there on yourself, no matter what you are going to do, it will become negative. That's why there is no, even though so much of work going on in the world, doesn't seem to be enough. We are not able to see the result. Why? Why we are not able to see the effect? The entire act of service stems from ego. What is that ego, sir? Three things. One. What are the three things I said? One is you do it because you are so sure that you are secured. And then you do. Suppose if your food security is challenged, will you do? I will get settled first. Sir, let me get settled in life and then I will attend your class. You can try for another 100 Janmas. You will never get settled. There's no such thing called you getting settled. It never happens. Why? First thing we want what? The moment it were to come and touch that part of it, finished. I'm sure to have mine first. And then I'll give. It doesn't matter the quantum. Remember, we don't care about the quantum. You may think, quantum is such a big thing. Like we say, this man, Mukesh Ambani, he has built a house. How much is it? I don't know what is it today. Okay. And it was built. 150 crores. Okay. How much is your house? Mine is a very small one. It's only 10 crores. What is his value? What is your value? In 1 week, he will earn that 150 crores. For you, that 10 crores is what? Sir, 7, 10 years. 10 years of my work, sir. Now tell me who's greedy? You or him? But outside when you talk, will you ever believe that you are greedy? Amassing wealth, hoarding. I don't hoard. Mukesh Ambani is hoarding. Because he has 37 cars he has, sir. How many cars you have? I have only 2 cars. How many you have? 2 cars, no? I'm also having 2 cars. Bike, we are 3 in the house. There are 5 vehicles standing. And then we complain. Bangalore traffic, too much of traffic. The unemployed fellow has 5 vehicles in the house now. How not you will have traffic on the road? What is this? This is called hoarding. He having 37 cars is not hoarding, please. You should understand the proportion. What is it? Superiority? Or what is it? To forget your problem. You go out and help for what? To forget my issues. My problems I want to forget, sir. And this is a good way of forgetting my problems. So he says, a bhakta, a devotee of God, is one who is so sensitive to the sufferings of people. So what he will do? Instantly, he owns the responsibility. Instantly, he takes up that responsibility of what? Of not adding to their suffering. First step is he will ensure that he is not causing or he is not adding any suffering. Iniquity there shall be, woe unto you if you are the cause of it. Beautiful teaching of Christ. There is iniquity there shall be. There will be suffering in the world. But first responsibility of yours is what? Find out, are you causing it? How do you cause? You cause the pain or suffering by 3 means: thoughts, words, deeds. Action. Actions in the sense of gesture. The gestures. Words means the tone, not the bad word. Remember. Like a friend calls and says stupid. Literally, the meaning is one. But what he is communicating is what? That is not what he is saying actually. If you take the dictionary meaning, there is one thing. Remember, always in life, in any transaction, there are 2 aspects: visible, invisible, manifested, unmanifested, perceptible, imperceptible. What we call as drishta and adrishta. Invisible. Adrishta is not luck. Please. Adrishta means invisible. Adrishta. Non-perceptible. Most of the time, we miss the invisible. That's why every fight, the wife goes out thinking what? You are not understanding what I'm saying. Can't he understand the words? Of course, he can understand the words. But you are trying to communicate something more than the words, which the words cannot carry. But you have no other choice to use those words. So you use those words, but the words are important to carry what you want to communicate. Now, why you get so frustrated with that fellow is he is missing the invisible part. He is holding on to the visible part. Which is more valuable, sir? Visible or invisible? The unmanifest part is far more valuable in life than the visible. Hold on to that. That's why we say it is thoughts. It's the thought. In thought, you should not feel. Nowadays, I don't know what is this, but earlier, when I was small, I have seen this. If the power failure happens in the house, instantly we go out to check. Entire street. Appa. What is that? Have you done that? Then you are old. You should say no. You know, power failure. You see the entire street. Wow. Thought, what is it? Everybody suffering. Nice. Another thought. No. Be sensitive enough for you to get it, he says. That's this quality of compassion. A fascinating quality. It's so many things are flashing. We can go on and on these ideas. There. It's compassion. Nirmama is another beautiful quality of no mindness. Mama is mine. Nirmama is no mindness, no possessiveness, no attachment to anything. That's what it means. Free from mindness, meaning free from the sense of ownership. I own it. That is attachment. You have that sense of it. And it is a law of life that you get attached, you lose the object. Not only you lose the object, you lose the happiness also. See, that's the tragedy of attachment. Now you get attached to things. Now what is this? What is this attachment? Attachment is begging that object or being to give you happiness. That is called attachment. Attachment is I go and beg, please make me happy. You go to the object and say, please give me happiness. You buy a house. Why? You get attached to that. Means what? You give me happiness is what you are asking the house. And that's what you are asking the person, being or objects. Same rule. And attachment means what, sir? Attachment means you are expecting that object or being to give you joy, satisfaction, contentment, fulfillment, security. Please give me peace, happiness. And by law, remember, expectations will not be met. Don't get annoyed with me. Right? When you say this, people get angry. How do you say that? Why do you say that? As though I fixed it. Huh? I am also the same victim as you are. The same law. Right? If I get attached, attachment equals what? Attachment equals expectation. And expectations will not be met. And you know that adding to the problem is it's fueling the issue now. All expectations of yours will look perfectly justified for you. Isn't it? My expectations from you people will look perfectly justified for me. Okay? What did I say first? Expectations will not be met. I think my expectations are perfectly justified. And the justified expectations are not met by you people. Huh? What will happen to me?
Frustrated.
So frustrated. And same thing from your side also. You expect Ishwaran to close the class on time. Swamiji, when I asked him, Swamiji, I'm going to start classes, any advice? First thing he said, it is very important that you should start the class on time. I said, okay, Swamiji. It's all the more important. You should close the class on time. I'm 25 years past. I'm still following the first rule. Second rule ke varla hello. Because that's more difficult, It's not easy, I tell you. It demands extreme discipline. Not that suddenly you say, oh, your time might close. It should not be like that also. You should conclude it, seamlessly. It needs intellectual discipline. That's the advice he gave me. That important thing, say, on time. You have an expectation from me. What? Ishwaran will follow his guru's advice. And then we think, sir, you should have, unreasonable expectations you should not have. But reasonable expectations are allowed now. Reasonably, you can put your finger in fire, no. Reasonably, it will burn. Isn't it? The fire is not going to say, oh, reasonably, I will give you cool, only if it is more. No matter what. Fire burns. Same way. You get attached, you will get into frustration. You cannot escape. Why? Because attachment equals expectations. Expectations will look perfectly justified. Justified things are not met. Obviously, you will get frustrated. If it is unreasonable to you, you will never get into frustration because you yourself will say what? I think it is too much to expect. Suddenly, you don't expect Ishwaran to teach you, quantum physics, no? Isn't it? You will not expect me to teach quantum physics. Why? Because it is. What is your qualification? BCom. I studied commerce, not even physics. 10th standard was science over for me. After that, no science. 10th standard science you keep, and then you say, I'm going to teach quantum mechanics, chaos science. I'm going to next week topic. Consciousness and chaos science. Both you don't know. Consciousness, you will tell me, I'm saying. You don't know consciousness. You don't know chaos science. What are you going to teach now? To expect me to teach these subjects, unreasonable. None of you will get frustrated. But you know the tragedy. Every expectation of yours will look perfectly justified. Sir, 28 years I lived with this fellow. Forgot my birthday. I made coffee, took that coffee, gave him, stood there and asking, how is the coffee? Yeah. Nice. Is it hot? 10 minutes I've been asking. Will not be met. That fellow will forget what? Everything he will remember under sun. What he will not remember? Your birthday you will not remember. And that will look for you what? Sir, should I not expect that? Basic, no. Same problem from the other side. So, you are frustrated with the other person is frustrated equally with you. Where you will land up? Divorce. Where else you will go? What else you will do? You can't live together today. Even if you are living together for whatever reason, there is no joy in that life. There's only fights and distaste and discomfort. Why? Singular reason. Remember, if you want to tone down all your pains and sufferings in life, there is a singular reason for that. That is attachment. A bhakta is not attached. Why? He is not attached to anything in the world. Why he is not attached to anything with reference to the world? Because he is fully attached to God. With God, that problem is not there. Why? Attachment equals what? Please give me happiness. Correct? If at all you can get happiness, who is the only source? Singular source for happiness is God. World cannot give you happiness. So you are asking the right source. He is capable of giving. How much happiness you want? Permanent happiness I want. Enough stock he has. He can keep supplying. Is there any problem he will have with you? He will never have any problem with you. Why? Because from his side there is no expectation. Therefore, even if you get attached to God, this attachment will not produce any of these negative impacts. Therefore, he is happy, that fellow. He is fully attached to God, fully surrendered to God, nothing happens. That is a bhakta. Yes. Nirmama. No mind. He is no attachment. He is not attached to anything to the world. Why he is not attached to the world? Because he is attached to God. Will he have the problems that we are facing from this attachment? No. In fact, he will have exactly opposite effect of what we experience from our attachments. At least today we'll close on time. See you next class.